Demonstrated fists. The city's chief is warned about election-motivated violence. Today, he told us his officers are working 12-hour shifts with no days off.
And breaking news tonight, a rare sight, the National Guard patrolling the streets of Portland tonight. The governor activated...
What's your 20? Shots fired. There's too many. They won't die.
Well, welcome to the Mendota Ranch. Let me get a couple of these colts on the walker. I've got these colts I need to ride, but we've had an ice storm here, and we were out of power for 3 or 4 days, which is better than a lot of people. A lot of people are probably still out of power, but I do have a lot of generators. So I've got a gas generator, I got a PTO generator, I got a diesel generator, I got a gas/propane generator. And we've been running them pretty hard, and I need to go around and just service all of them right quick while these horses are on the walker. And so I thought I'd kind of tag y'all along, and maybe I can answer some of your generator questions, and so you'll be prepared for the next storm. So let me get these guys. I know they're fresh. They're going to buck pretty hard when we get on this walker. But if you look around here, you can see all the branches broke. That's from the ice storm. I bet they're pretty fresh. They've been locked up in this ice storm. Oh, got some buckers. Yeah, they're glad to get out of their pens. While they're on the walker here, let's go start with the FAR generator, and let's go get this. I got like a 1950 model diesel generator. Let's go start with it, and then we'll work our way back here, and then these colts will be getting off the walker. But let's go. Okay, so this is my diesel generator. Okay, so the first generator we're going to look at today, this is my old diesel generator. And when I say old, I mean, this son of a gun is old. I don't know if it's U.S. Air Force. I don't know, it's probably 1950 or something. It's old. But truthfully, this is my favorite generator. And the reason why is it's 24 volts, and of course we've got Hummers around here and stuff like that, so we've got the equipment to jump this thing off. So I don't even really care if the batteries are even up on this one. Now the other ones, we're talking about batteries because they're more important, but this one here, you really don't even need the batteries. So when it goes out, we'll prepare jumper cables, put it on there, a little bit of ether, squirt a little bit ether. This son of a gun runs, and it runs all day long. Now, the downside to having a 1950 model generator is the gauges. If you look at these, like this volt gauge and the amp gauge, you really, see, I've got shadow there. If you're looking at those gauges, they really don't help you a whole lot, truthfully. There's somehow on this cycle gauge, these things flip back and forth, and somehow they're supposed to kind of even out when you get up to your voltage. I never have figured that one out. So what I do is I got my ohms meter, and so I just rev it up until I'm getting, it's got 2 legs in the ground. You got ground, 2 legs, and we're putting out 240 is it volts or amps? I don't know, whatever. What is it? The volts is by the throttle. So you got a throttle you pull out, and the throttle locks, and the higher the RPMs is, the higher the volts are. So you got your ground leg, and you got 2 other legs, and the other 2 legs are both, you want about 120 to 125 each leg, which comes out to 240, 250. That's how you know you got enough electricity to run the house. And these houses with the heaters these days have got a little what ignites the fuel is essentially a direct short, so it takes a lot of power to even get the heater going. So this guy here, that's what I do. Jump it off, start it up. It's diesel, and once it started up, you just rev it up until your ohms meter says, yeah, we're good on that. We're at 120, 125 each leg, and then we're good. And this son of a gun runs and runs and runs and runs, and it is a good son of a gun. No computer, none of that kind of junk. It's just reliable, super reliable. So what I need to do today, and we're gonna go to each one of these generators, I'm gonna check the oil, and see what the diesel status is, and make sure it's ready for the next ice storm. The reason we have so many generators here is because if you look around here, we got 1,000 head of calves that we got to water and feed. And so to pump the water, I mean, if you got 1,000 head, you're looking at, on a hot day, 30 gallons of water per head times 1,000. That's a lot of water to pump in one day. So we can't be without electricity for very long, or we can't rely on somebody else to give us electricity. So we have to be prepared for a disaster, and we don't want a disaster, or an inconvenience to turn into disaster. And that's all it is. Power is just a convenience and inconvenience when we're out. And when we have an ice storm, we're having enough trouble with the calves anyways because of the weather conditions, and we don't want to make it worse by not having any water. So let's since we've been running these for 4 days, let's just check the oil, make sure everything's okay there, and check the diesel, and then we'll go to the next one. So I'm right on the bottom of the low, so we could use a couple quarts here. Turn this power off here. This really is a good generator. I mean, I know it looks like ass, but it is that good. Let me check the fuel. If you ever need to check like fuel, like say in the fuel tank of your, like my helicopter fuel in the tank, if you just feel down here, it's warm here, and when you get to the fuel, it'll get cold. So right there is my fuel line. So this is a 50-gallon tank. This 50-gallon tank will run this generator for about 2.5 days. So it's not bad. It's not good. It's not bad. But the good thing about this thing is if it dies, because it's obnoxiously loud. So you wouldn't want this one like in your backyard or something. Oh, perfect. Okay, so all right, so oil's good. Everything, the belts look good. Everything else looks good. I need to add about 25 gallons of diesel to it. So what this one runs, this generator here runs the shop, and this one runs Luke's house and a water well and the shop over there at Luke's house. And what you're going to see on all these generators and everything that I own out here, we all have a double throw breaker box. So if you can come around here and see this handle, so see the handle is all the way down, that's utility power. Okay, so when we want to go to the generator power, we go up to this one. So you go on, off, and then back on. So for instance, if we're out of electricity and I want to start this generator and I want to get this going, first thing I do, I'll come up here, get it started, get it running, get the volts that I want, and everything's running nice and smooth. I don't want the engine revving up and crap like that. Once I get it all running, then I'll throw this breaker. It'll already be off. I'll throw it up to on, and that'll get it going. Okay, and that'll have generator power. So then when the electricity comes back on, we throw it off and then back on to utility power to North Plains. The reason you want this, you don't want it wired up any different, because you don't ever want to run, you would hate to ever run power back down the line. So if they're working on, the power line, trying to fix it for you, and you're trying to run electricity back down there, you might damage somebody. So you're gonna see that on all these. I don't even buy every breaker box that I ever buy, even if I don't have a generator on it, has a double throw. So, because there's no use wasting the money, and so everything's double throw. Hope that makes sense. Everything. Okay, let's go look at another generator. This one is, I know what I need. I just need diesel here. Oil's good. Diesel, and like I said, remember this one. Remember my old Air Force one. It's diesel. I've got gas, diesel, propane, all of it. But I'm gonna go show you a gas one now. This one's ready to go. We just need some more diesel. So let's go look at the next one. Okay, so this is one of our shops, and it looks like a shop. So this is our welder. So this is, 99% of the time this is used, we just go around and repair, weld fence and corners and whatever else needs to be welded up. So this is just a Miller Bobcat welder. But it works as a generator too. So this is kind of a dual purpose for a lot of people, people that they're like, well, I want a generator, but I can sure use a welder. So this works out pretty good because you can weld with it year round. So you know it's running because you use it once a week or twice a week. It's got a 50 amp plug on here, and then it's got some 120 volt plugs. So this one, what we use it for is this one's kind of our mobile. So like say I've got a jet pump and some water wells that need to run for a day and fill up a storage tank. We just hook onto the welder and drag it over there, plug it in, run it for a day or half a day. So the downside to this one is it doesn't have enough power like some of the houses. I was telling you about the heating element. Sometimes the 50 amp isn't enough power to kick that heater on and run everything in the house. So sometimes you're limited on what you can run and what you can't run. And the other downside to it is it has a really small fuel tank. So with a really small fuel tank, it's probably good for about 8 or 10 hours of just running. Because when you're running this thing using electricity, I mean it's running at high RPMs. So there might be a better, if you go with the welder route, do some research and figure out which one puts out more of the volts and can handle more amps. Because this Bobcat's really good for us, and it runs a water well and stuff really good, but it is limited. So this is gas. So I've shown you diesel, I've shown you gas. I got another one. All right, let's go check it out. All right, so this generator here, as you can see, it doesn't have a motor. This is what you'd call a PTO generator. This is a workhorse, and it's really reliable. And for us, we've got several tractors sitting around here, and we always have tractors out running. And what this one is we hook the PTO, so power takeoff on a tractor. If you're not familiar with tractor, we plug this into the back of the tractor. So this is a PTO shaft, and it plugs into the PTO of a tractor. So this is the PTO. So then once you plug this in, then you're using the motor from the tractor to run the generator. It's as simple as that. All right, so when we're talking about the PTO or power takeoff, how it works is you start the engine up, and then you got a switch inside there that engages this, and of course you want to be careful it doesn't tangle you up. And so whatever power tractor you got to make sure, like this, I think this is 40 or 50 horsepower at the minimum PTO power. So like even though this is 110 horsepower tractor here, PTO power is like 100 horses. Of course, so it'll run a big one. So if you got like a 50 horsepower tractor like most people out in the country do, this might be, I mean, this thing's cheap. I'm not saying cheap, it's a couple $1,000, but it's a lot cheaper than keeping a generator run, a motor on a generator that you don't ever use, So if you got a tractor sitting around, it's a pretty good option, and it works really well, and it's really simple. It's so say if I need electricity, I'll back up here, hook onto it, and plug the PTO on, and then I'll essentially just rev the engine up, and you've got these lights right here. You got a red light, green light, red light. So you just rev it up till you get to the green light, and at the green light, that's the idle. So is it 15, 16, or 1700 RPMs, whatever it is, that's where you just set the idle on your tractor, and then it's producing the right amount of electricity for you. So it's a simple deal. So I've changed this one up a little bit. I've got a plug on the outside instead of just hardwiring it in. I got a plug here, got a throw breaker here. I usually just leave that breaker on, and I'll just leave this plugged in because this I don't move this one a lot, but you can. I can move this. So at any point, any of the other generators breaks down, we can always move this anywhere we want to. We got the double throw breaker box here, so it's on utility power now. We want to go to generator, it's on generator power down here. Okay, so it's a good deal. Or you can do, it's got plugs on the back. You can plug right into it here or there. however you want to do it. But the only maintenance, truthfully, on this thing is you really do, they say about every 6 months. I do it. I'm probably not as good about that, but maybe every year anyways. You need to load it up and run it. Something about the brushes and stuff you need to run, and it needs to be used. So, but I've had this thing for, I don't know, 10 years or something. No trouble. There's no computers, there's no engine. And if you got tractors like us, the downside to this one is usually when you have a snowstorm, ice storm, bad storm, you could be using your tractor somewhere else, and that's kind of a downside. So so when you're out clearing snow instead of making electricity, Mom might be mad at the house. So, but it works pretty good. You need to fill your deal up with diesel. Just go fill it up, and these things got big old tanks on them. These tractors do, and they'll run for days at 1,500-1,600 RPMs. So there you go. Okay, I've got one more. I got one more generator to show you. Let's go look at it. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. So this is my Generac. This is kind of a newer one. I don't quite have it wired up like you're supposed to have it wired up. The way these work, and they're really neat and they're really cool. For some reason, this one eats a lot of oil, and that kind of scares me a little bit. But this one, you're supposed to have it, hardwired straight into your house. So it starts up every other week or some junk like that, and then as soon as electricity goes off, it fires up for you automatically. My problem is the way I have my house wired in. To do that, I'd have to have this generator on that side of the house because my electricity comes in on that side. So I don't want to look at it, and I don't want to hear it in my house. And so I've got propane here, and this is actually a propane generator. And the reason that I went with propane here is because out here we've got natural gas wells. So actually natural gas comes out of the ground here. And so if you have propane, well, you can switch it over to just change a few little parts, and we can switch it to natural gas. And at some point, I hope to be on natural gas here. And for instance, if we really get into a bad wreck or we're really in a bad shape, well, I can have natural gas here. I can run a line from a gas well here. And so we used to, in our old house, we used to actually just tap right into the wellhead and run our house on natural gas straight from the wellhead. And so one of the advantages of living out here in the Texas Panhandle where we are is, when number one, we got gas comes out of the ground. Number two, we got enough water under us, drinking water, to supply the bottled water use for the next 50 years. We got everything you want to eat. We got fish, we got deer, and we got cattle. We got horses for transportation, and if you're real desperate, you can even eat a turkey. So, and we got lots of guns. So we're in good shape. So if electricity goes off around here, it's no big deal. As long as you're prepared, and we're prepared. So what I do different on this one, this Generac, is, since it's not hooked up to the house, I always unhook the battery, and I put a battery maintainer or a trickle charger on the battery just to keep it charged, so that as soon as electricity comes out, I can walk out here, start the generator, get it running, and then start flipping my power. So this one, I've got my own water well here, and then we've got water there, with electricity in the house. And so when everything's running, we got 3 water wells right here at headquarters, because we usually have, a lot of cattle to water, we got horses to water, we got people to water. So we got backup on top of backup on top of backup. So, it's the same old thing, goes back, 1 is none, 2 is 1, and 3 is, I don't know what 3 is. What is 3? 3 is maybe 3 is 1.5. But 1 is none, and 2 is 1. So you always have to have more than one plan, one backup. And so that's kind of the deal on this one. The only thing that worries me about this Generac is why it's drinking so much oil. It bothers me quite a bit. But if you're looking for a little house deal, Generac actually does a pretty good job for like residential houses. They got every size you need, propane, natural gas. So say if you got natural gas coming into your house, then I would go with natural gas, because natural gas, you know, even if electricity's off, you're still gonna have natural gas. But if not, you know, propane would be a good idea. But if you're gonna have propane, I've got a 1,000-gallon propane tank, and I've got 1,000 here, and I got about 5,000 gallons of propane stashed around the ranch in different spots we need it. But natural gas comes out of the ground here, so natural gas is my end goal. Yeah, I like Generac, especially since during the pandemic I bought the stock, and the stock's up 130%. I think that's from California having all their brownouts. So apparently in California they like Generac. But yeah, let's put a little oil in this thing and have it ready to go for the next trip. I'm always surprised how many people are unprepared, and they make a little problem into a dang disaster because they're so unprepared. It's like, really? Did you not know electricity is going to go off? So don't be one of those people. I promise you, if you're watching me right now, I promise you, your electricity is going to go off. At some point, your electricity is going to go off. And for us out here in the country, we don't have anybody, you know, we can call them and say, hey, our electricity's off. And they go, yeah, we know, but we got 100,000 people in front of you before we even get to you. So we're the last ones to get our electricity back, which is understandable. So just so you know, the downside of this is, I don't know why it's eating so much oil. That's it's a big engine, but it shouldn't be drinking that much oil. I don't know where it's going actually. Hey Generac, reach out to me. I'm a stockholder, and I'll quit talking crap about your generator if you sponsor me and bring me a new generator. I'm sure my phone's ringing right now. Okay, this is ready. That's ready. I got one more. I got one more generator. Let's go look at it. So this is great for if electricity goes out. We used to have like a horse trailer we'd use, like if you don't have any electricity and whatever, the generator's not working. Well, the horse trailer always had a generator. We've got a generator for this one too. And so say if you already own an RV or you own a horse trailer like with living quarters, this is a pretty good option when electricity's off. So I've got this little Honda generator right here. It runs everything in here, and actually in the winter time, I've got this thing's got diesel furnace heater, but you got everything you need to live right here. It's like, hook this little generator up. This thing runs forever on a gallon of gas. So there you go. There's another plan. Or you could use this even around your house. If you had one of these, you can get two of these, and they run a lot of power. This is has a 30 amp plug. You couldn't run much, but main thing you got to worry about when you're out of electricity. If you're like me, you got 2 or 3 freezers full of meat that you don't want to go bad. So you need to be able to keep your freezer going. So sometimes running an extension cord out and just running your freezer or your refrigerator and just pretty much abandoning ship is not a bad idea. But yeah, if you got an RV, there you go. So we've shown you a diesel, we've shown you gas, we've shown you a PTO that runs off of the tractor, runs the electricity. propane slash natural gas generator, an RV. But I get a lot of questions from my friends in town about, you know, when the electricity was off the other day for 3 or 4 days, it was off in town too, and everybody says, well, what should I buy? And that's, you know, whatever fits your deal. If you're a welder and you like to work, buy you a welder. If you got no clue what you're doing, maybe Generac might be able to have you an all-in-one deal that comes automatic. But it does take maintenance, and you do have to be prepared. So when you see the weather a week out and you see it's going to a possibility of ice or snow or something bad, you need to go out there and do some maintenance and start the dang thing so you don't turn, you know, a problem into a disaster. And for us, so say if we wasn't prepared here and we were out electricity for 4 days and we had, you know, 1,000 head of yearlings needing 30,000 gallons of water a day to drink, we would be in a wreck. So electricity goes off here, I don't care. I can have everything up and running in 5 minutes. I can have everything started and running. It's just because I'm prepared. I'm ready to go. We got, and we're really prepared now. We got oil and everything. But that's part of ranch life. The cool thing about being out here is if it gets really bad, we got the gas comes out of the ground. We got water comes out of the ground. We got plenty to eat. Plenty of protein running around here. We got horses for transportation. We got plenty of fuel. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I got a lot of friends that say, I'm gonna come live with you when it gets really bad. I said, you better let me know you're coming. So, all right. I got some cool videos coming up. And hey, I gotta thank a bunch of people on my videos. So, you know, you get those trolls. I don't know who those trolls are. I don't know if they're living in their mom's basement and they're just mad at the world. They always got some, you know, stupid something to say. And I've noticed that all you guys are just like wearing these guys out, and I appreciate that. So a lot of times I'll just skip over those comments, but I'm enjoying reading y'all's, you know, calling these guys idiots and stuff like that. That's good stuff. I like it. I appreciate it. And it'd be cool to have a troll-free YouTube channel, wouldn't it? But I don't know if that ever happened. But anyways, thanks a lot. Thanks for following me. Thanks for subscribing, and thanks for giving those trolls hell. Okay, we'll see you on the next one.